All right, good evening, baseball fans. Welcome back. Here we are at the KCCL again. This is a 19th century dead ball tournament, and it's been a lot of fun. And we got a little ways to go yet. Too, we're in round two. Round two is the best of five. We had a great one the other night. The 1885 Chicago White Stockings and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. That thing was a battle, to say the least. And we'll go back and look at some box scores on that. But the 1885 White Stockings holding a 2-0 lead against the 1894 Orioles. Tonight's game, however, the 1908 Cleveland Naps looking to move ahead and move to round three to face the 1907 Chicago Cubs. They will meet the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates. The Naps holding a 2-1 lead in that one. So we're going to get to the ballpark. And then the other one that we won't be doing tonight, but the next time we meet, hopefully, the 1912 Boston Red Sox with a 2-0 lead over the 1884 Providence Grays. Welcome in Robbie Wartburg. So here we go. So the computer will be taking care of the Pirates as we travel to League Park in Cleveland. And here we go. Hope you enjoy the game. All right. And here we go. All right, welcome to League Park in Cleveland as Cousin Ken Castro comes in and gives us a resounding let's go. And Robbie Wartburg still thinks I'm like Judge somebody or other. But anyhow, that's funny, Robbie, when you do that. All right, so here we go. So the Cleveland Naps with a 2-1 lead over the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates. So we are home turf. The Bucks looking to draw even on this one. Let's look at our weather here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a 52 degrees and no particulate from forest fires, I would like to add, by the way. So clear, winds 5 miles per hour out to left center field. Looking at the starting defense, and once again, disclaimer, we're playing these older teams. Some of the nicknames you may find offensive, but they were part of baseball history, and so I do use them. In left field for the Cleveland Naps, Josh Clark. In center, Joe Birmingham. In right, Bill Hinchman. Around the horn from first to third, George Stovall. The great Napoleon Lajoie, for whom this team is named. George Perring at short. Bill Bradley at third. Nick Clark catching. And Glenn Liebhart gets the nod tonight for the Cleveland Naps. Looking at his record, in 1908 for the Naps, he had a 2.20 earned during average, 15 wins, 16 losses. He worked 262 innings, walked 81, struck out 146. The American League that year against Liebhart hit 220. He had a whip of 1.15. World's Worst Gamer says, bonjour. Hoping your company can calm down. Blood is boiling. Of all things, he was at war with your city's recycling company. We'll sit back, man, enjoy some baseball, maybe play up a game of your own. I've been watching your posts in the Discord about the season replay you're doing. So yeah, man, for tonight, let's just have some fun. Always good to see our friend World's Worst Gamer here, hanging out with the family. Leading it off. Oh, I should say, I'm sorry. For Liebhart in this tournament, he is 1 win, no losses. He's worked 9 innings. He's walked 1, struck out 1, and a whip, ridiculous, if you will, 5.56. And right now, hitters just hitting 125 against Liebhart, so it should be pretty good. Lefty Leafield gets to start for the Bucks. We'll talk about him when we get to the bottom of the first. Hannes Wagner leads it off. Wagner is 6 for 12 in the tournament, hitting .500, including a home run, 2 runs batted in, and a steal. So sit back, relax, grab a beverage, roll up a cards and dice game, maybe play your own game on your PC, glance over, and enjoy the baseball. And most importantly, Just hanging out and chatting with everybody. And we're about to get underway here as Liebhardt sets and deals, and Wagner draws the walk. So fastball missing. This one low and inside, and the Flying Dutchman aboard. And the Pirates with a nice hit and run tandem here right now as left fielder Fred Clark steps in, player manager of these Pittsburgh Pirates. Clark having a disappointing tournament thus far, hitting just 154 in 1909 for these World Championship Pittsburgh Pirates. Clark hit 287 with 3 home runs, 65 runs batted in, 31 steals. Both Wagner and Clark with superb speed. Liebhardt with a check of the runner, Nig Clark with a sign. Liebhardt kicks and deals and throws over. Wagner back easily. Glenn Liebhardt ready to work now to Fred Clark. Clark cuts on this one, bunt out in front of the place. Nig Clark up with it, throws on DeLajoie, cover at second, and Hannes Wagner will move into scoring position, 1 away. So sacrifice successful by Fred Clark, and here comes Dots Miller, the Bucko second baseman, hitting just .077 with 2 runs batted in. So not necessarily moving runners around, Dots Miller. Liebhardt looking at the speedy Flying Dutchman at second. 8-time National League batting champ. Here's the pitch. And the throw down to third. Clark's throw not in time. Hannes Wagner aggressive here. So Wagner draws the walk. And Wagner gets all the way to third. How about that? So Wagner was sacrificed to second by Fred Clark and steals third. So Pittsburgh looking at its first run just 90 feet away as Dots Miller back in the box, and the 1-0 count. And Miller chopper to short. George Perring up with it over to George Storval on the bang-bang play, but in to score is Hannes Wagner, and Pittsburgh tallies a run here in the top of the first inning. All right, yep, we are waiting for that, and there's Todd B. Todd B coming in now for the second game, or the nightcap, if you will. All right, here is Tommy Leach. Tommy Leach hitting .214 in this tournament, no runs batted in. Leach, a .261 hitter in 1909 with 6 home runs, 43 ribbies, 27 steals. A lot of speed on this Pittsburgh Pirate team, as you will see there is also on this Cleveland Naps team. 2 away, 1 in for the Bucks, top of the first. Glenn Liebhardt has the sign from Nig Clark. Here is the delivery, the 2-1 fastball. Leach chops it short, and Perring knocks it down, fires it across to George Stovall to retire Tommy Leach and the side. However, 1 run on no hits, and there were no errors. We've played a half inning. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates 1, and the Cleveland Naps coming to bat. Looking now at the Pirate defense from right field to left field. In right field, Chief Wilson. In center, Tommy Leach. In left, Fred Clark. From third to first around the horn, Jap Barbeau at third, Hannes Wagner at short, Dots Miller at second, Bill Abstein at first, George Moon Gibson catching, and Lefty Leafield pitching. Leafield making his first appearance in this tournament in 1909. A 2.37 earned run average. He went 19-8, worked 201 and 2/3 innings, walked 54, struck out 43. So the league hit .220 against him, and a very, very, very strong infield around him. So look for Leafield to allow his defense to do more of the work, not necessarily overpowering. Josh Clark will lead it off here for the Cleveland Naps in the bottom of the first. The left fielder for Cleveland hitting .269 with 2 runs batted in. He hit .242, so hitting a little bit above what it says in the tin. He had .242 in the regular season with a home run, 21 runs batted in, but serious speed, 37 steals in 1908 for the Cleveland Nine. Lefty Leafield has the sign from Moon Gibson. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball chopped to Wagner, coming in shallow on this. Quick throw to first. And Josh Clark gets down the line and just beats Wagner's throw. So looked like that the tall grass there just on the inside part of the diamond, slowed that down a little bit, and Wagner, even with a strong peg, unable to get the speedy Josh Clark. So expect to see some small balls we saw from the Bucks in the top of the first. Second baseman Bill Bradley in there now. Bradley having a good tournament, baseball fans, hitting .333 with 2 runs batted in. Hit only .243 in 1908. Josh Clark has an aggressive leadoff first. Lefty lead field with a glance of the runner. And the 0-1 delivery. Change up to Bradley. Bunted. Leafield's only play will be to first. Dots Miller covering on the wheel play. And Josh Clark will move into scoring position, 1 away. So this looks like almost a carbon copy of the Pirates' first inning. And now first baseman George Stovall. He's having an excellent series. .375 average for him. A home run. 7 runs batted in. Leafield peers over his left shoulder. Josh Clark looks in, has the sign from George Gibson, and here is the wind. Fastball, first pitch swinging, base hit, center field, and tearing all the way around and sliding into second with the double is George Stovall, who also picks up the RBI. So we are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the first. That's the second base hit for the Cleveland Naps in the game. And there is Mike, Sports Time Machine. Guys, excellent channel. Mike, it's been a while since we've seen you. Hope you're doing well. This is a treat. We rarely see Mike around too much. So, let's get to Napoleon Lajoie. But World's Worst Gamer says he's focused on this game. If he plays his 1933 Giants replay, he'll get even more chest pains. Yikes. The team was the winner, but such an uninteresting team to manage. Well, not so bad when you have Carl Hubble pitching at least, but all right, we don't want you having chest pains, my friend. Not at all. All right, Napoleon Lajoie, who tore it up in the Ned McGreevy League. Lajoie hitting .292, 4 runs batted in for this player. It was just, even today, I mean, one of the greatest of all time. Lefty Leafield deals to him now. First pitch swing. Oh, there's the throw down by Gibson, and they're going to get Stovall, who was trying to steal third. So base is empty, 2 away. Nice heads up, quick throw by Gibson. And lefty Leafield giving him something to throw, getting that in there quickly, and gunning down the runner. So caught stealing, empties the bases, 2 away. Lajoie back in the box, and the 0-1 chopped deep to short. Wagner up with it. Strong peg onto Abstein at first, and that will retire the Cleveland 9. But 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. We played 1 here at League Park in Cleveland, Ohio, and we are knotted at 1. Chief Wilson will lead it off here. Wilson be followed by George Gibson and then Bill Abstein. Chief Wilson, to say he's having an abysmal tournament would be a gross understatement. Cranks and Cranklets hitting just .083 with 1 run batted in. In 1909 for the Bucks, he did hit .272. 12 triples that year. Wilson pretty good at the triples. 4 home runs, and he batted in .59. Only 1 in the tournament, though. So the Buccos need Chief Wilson to start heating up to stay alive in this tournament. Again, the Pirates looking to even up here. Cleveland with a 2-1 lead. Liebhart winds and fires the 1-0. Curveball, routine fly ball to center field. And Joe Birmingham has it in his sights and squeezes his glove around it for the first out of the second inning. Moon Gibson, he's hitting .333. The Bucco catcher's batted in 4. Liebhart deals the 1-1. Gibson chops this to first. George Stovall waving off Liebhart, and he'll take it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the top of the second inning, and it brings up first baseman Bill Abstein. Abstein, an absolutely frigid 0 for 8 in this tournament. So again, Mike, good to see you in here at the ballpark. Glenn Liebhart from the set deals the 2-1. Changeup, Abstein grounded deep to short. George Perring sets in plenty of time. He'll just peg it on over to first to retire the Buckaroons. So 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the second inning. We are knotted at 1 here in Cleveland. Here's right fielder Bill Hinchman. We've seen Hinchman make a couple of nice plays in right field, some outfield assists, and to accompany that excellent defense, good offense too by the Cleveland Naps right fielder, hitting .348 in the tournament with 3 runs batted in, so kind of overperforming. He hit .231 in 1908. So Leafield ready to work now. Here is the wind. And the 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on by Hinchman. Fly ball. Leach going back on this ball. Backpedaling about 9 steps and makes the catch. So 1 up, 1 down for catcher Nig Clark, who's hitting just .150 in the tournament. He's batted into. Clark in 1908 hit .241 for the Cleveland squad. Gibson sets the leather for Leafield, who winds and fires the 0-1 fastball. This one shallow fly ball to left, and player manager Fred Clark pulls it in for out number 2. Leafield looking to face the minimum here in the bottom of the second. Center fielder Joe Birmingham in the box. Birmingham having even, if you thought Wilson's was frigid, this is absolute zero, literally. Center fielder for the Cleveland Naps in 21 at-bats. Nothing. He is 0 for 21. He hit .213 in 1908 with 2 home runs and 30 ribbies. 15 steals, but Buck's doing a good job keeping Birmingham off the base paths. Birmingham, of course, doing nothing in round 1 in the tournament either. Southpaw Leafield ready to deal the 2-0. And Birmingham, big swing and a miss. And that takes care of Cleveland. Nothing across. We go to the top of the third, and the score remains 1-1. Dan Burke and Mick joining us here at the ballpark. As Mick says, 1 run, no hits. It must be dead ball. So welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Yeah, Todd asked a question. Will we ever see another player manager ever in baseball? Probably not. Wasn't the last one? Wasn't it? Was it Al Lopez? I'm thinking it was. I think it was a Cleveland. It was a Cleveland Indian, and I think it was in the 1940s. I think it was the last time we saw a player manager. I'm pretty sure. So Dan says he doubts it. I doubt it too. I doubt it. Oh, so it was Pete Rose for a full season? Was he a player manager full season? Because Fred Clark was. So that's kind of why I'm asking. Is everybody saying Pete Rose, Pete Rose? All right, so Robbie, guys, he's been doing some secret project he hasn't been allowed to talk about. So he says he thinks he will go ahead and announce what he's been doing. So Robbie, have at it, man. I'm going to call the game and glance over, and everybody have a read of what Robbie's up to. I'm sure it's exciting. Last time it was Stone Cold Hockey or something like that. He was beta testing. So let her rip, Robbie. Todd giving you a drum roll. All right. Jack Barbeau will lead it off here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, followed by lefty Leafield and then Hannes Wagner at the top of the order. Barbeau hitting .273. Glenn Liebhart thus far has walked a batter. No strikeouts. Liebhart deals the 1-0. Fastball, Barbeau. Little lazy fly ball to center field, shallow center field, and Joe Birmingham will bring it down into the leather for out number 1. Robbie's getting married. All right. Mick says, do you have to kill us if you tell, Robbie? All right, here's lefty Leafield making his first plate appearance in the tournament. Glenn Liebhart ready to deal to his mound opponent. The 1-1 fastball, and this one, base hit right field. So the Buccos pick up their first hit here in the top of the third. Lefty Leafield aboard, and that we go back to the top of the order for Hannes Wagner. The Flying Dutchman walked back in the first, was sacrificed to second by Fred Clark, and stole third. Liebhart deals to Wagner. Payoff pitch. Fastball. Chopped down to first. Stovall will go to pairing it short, but they're not going to turn 2. So Wagner aboard on the fielder's choice. 2 away here in the Pittsburgh third, and it brings up Fred Clark. So 2 Hall of Famers on this team. Fred Clark sacrificed his last time up. Liebhart checks Wagner at first, the throw over, and Wagner back in plenty of time. Catcher Clark sets up as Fred Clark in the box. We have 3 Clarks in the game. Liebhart deals the 0-2 delivery. Fastball. This one gets by Nick Clark, and Hannes Wagner on the wild pitch will move to second. So the Buccos now with 2 down and a runner in scoring position thanks to that little gift by Glenn Liebhart. Glenn Liebhart pounds his mitt in that tiny glove he's wearing. Ready to go. Here's the 1-2. Curveball popped high in the air, and Nick Clark has it measured behind the dish and brings it down. So the Buccos, with a small threat, they do not score, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. We are knotted at 1. Robbie Wertberg says, as you know, a while back, he was a beta tester for Stone Mountain Press' most recent digital game, Stone Cold Hockey. He's, again, for their next PC game. So that next PC game, I have them helping. The beta test is called Dice United. It's a footy game, which plays similar to Stone Cold Hockey in ways. Way to go, Robbie Wertberg. So beta testing on 2 games. Beta testing is fun and frustrating. So good for you, Robbie. Good for you, bud. I know there's some footy fans or soccer, whatever you want to call it, in here. So yeah, keep everybody up to date. I'm sure the guys at Stone Mountain Press will be very happy that you're letting everybody know. So congrats, bud. I've heard good things about that hockey game. So, and I know you're very thorough and would give you're going to give the developers a lot of good feedback. So Robbie Wertberg, good to know what's up, man. All right, here is George Paring now. This will be Paring, Liebhart, and then back at the top of the order on Josh Clark. So this will be the first time then through the Cleveland order. Paring hitting .227 with a run batted in the tournament. Lefty Leafield rears and deals. Paring swings on the 1-0. Wagner up with it and fires it on to Abstein. This one just a textbook 6-3 putout. 1 down. Groan going up around League Park here, but really nothing special on that play. All right, here is Glenn Liebhart. Liebhart is 1 for 3 in the tournament. He has an RBI. Leafield deals. Payoff pitch to Liebhart. This fastball missing low. And that'll be a walk. First one issued by lefty Leafield. So that brings up the top of the order and left fielder Josh Clark. Infield single back in the first. Liebhart, no stolen bases in 1908. Leafield, however, with a check of the runner. Here's the 3-0 to Clark. Clark lays off. And this one a bit outside. And 1 away, and lefty Leafield might be having some control problems here. As Bill Bradley comes to the plate, the hot corner man for Cleveland with a sacrifice in this game. Leafield deals the 0-1 to Bradley. Fastball bunted. George Gibson has it, throws on to Dots Miller covering, but the runners move up. Glenn Liebhart, at third, and Josh Clark at second. So 2 in scoring position for the Naps, 2 away for first baseman George Stovall. RBI double scoring Josh Clark back in the first, tying this one. And that's where we stand right now. Both teams scoring their lone runs in the first inning. Lefty Leafield now working from the stretch. Stovall swings in the first pitch. This one popped in the infield. Wagner going out in the shallow outfield grass in the left pasture and makes the catch. So Cleveland threatens but leaves 2 in scoring position, and we head to the top of the fourth. And we are knotted at 1 as we enter the middle third of this game. So, Robbie says he's never found beta testing frustrated. Well, that's good. That is really good. It is fun. The games I've helped beta test, it's been like, they weren't sports games though. They were different, but were still very rewarding, very fun to do it and to offer feedback. Speaking of beta testing, I will be doing at some point this week. I hope this week, if not next week. Richard Dombrowski is alive and well and has sent me an update to Dombrov Baseball. I'll be installing it, looking over it. He has said that he's taken some of your comments into account. So you're kind of all beta testers for a released game. So we'll see what's up with that, and he has some more things coming down the pipe. So I have not yet installed the update. Looking forward to it, and we'll get it on here, and eventually we would do a head-to-head comparison of that and Digital Diamond Baseball, as they're very similar products. Digital Diamond getting a lot of love in the community, by the way, and I'm starting to mess with it a little bit. I don't know that it's going to be a game I'm going to do on my channel, but I do like the game, and I think for those of you who play cards and dice, it's a solid A. If you play strictly digital like I do, it's a solid B. Damn fine game that Mark Cohen put out this year. I think it's the best version. All right, Dots Miller here will lead it off for the Bucks here in the top of the fourth. He grounded to short, and Wagner scored, making it 1-0 Pittsburgh at the time. Liebhardt deals the 1-2. Miller sends this one up the middle. Lajoie ranging to his right, barehands it on to George Stovall at first for the 4-3 putout. One away here in the top of the fourth inning at League Park for center fielder Tommy Leach, who grounded to George Perring at short his last time up. Clark sets the target, Liebhardt into the wind, and the 1-2 fastball, lazy fly ball to center field. Joe Birmingham saunters over a few steps to his left and makes a catch for out number 2. Chief Wilson trying to get something going here for the Bucks and for himself. He is just 1 for 13 in this entire series. He flied to center back in the second. Here's Glenn Liebhardt's wind, and the 2-1 fastball swung on. This one popped high and foul on the third base side, and Bradley will make the catch. So the Pirates go very, very quietly, and we will head to the home half of the fourth inning. We are knotted at 1. So Cleveland looking to advance to the next round to meet the 1907 Chicago Cubs. The 1909 Bucks here looking to even it up. The bottom of the fourth now. Napoleon Lajoie, Bill Hinchman, and Nick Clark due up, the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Cleveland Naps. Lajoie in the game, 0 for 1, grounded to short back in the first. Lajoie to Wagner, got to say those names. A little picture here of the great Napoleon Lajoie and Hannes Wagner. Leafield deals the 3-0 pitch, fastball missing. Just high, so just above the letters, and Napoleon Lajoie aboard. Lajoie with 15 steals in 1908. Bill Hinchman, 0 for 1. Digs in on the right-hand side. He flied to deep right center back in the second. Mike talking to us. He says, Sports Times team, our league has decided to go way back and let anyone play. Each team... Their first 2 teams, each team has a cap of 9,000 OPS, or OPS for each team. So you guys are talking about, well, 18, okay. Oh, so you're talking about Digital Diamond Baseball. Wow. I really like what Mark has done, and I think if you play cards and dice baseball, there was a guy I was watching last night. Here I go, tangenting, but you guys know I do this. It was called Daddy Lefty or something. I don't know. It was last night or something. The guy, he did a great video on Digital Diamond Baseball. I urge you to check it out. I don't know if he's part of the community. I've never seen him before. But it was like 5 reasons why you should buy Digital Diamond Baseball, and I thought his arguments were very, very strong. And I do think that one of the strong points that he had talked about, and I'd mentioned, but he really drove this point home, I think, is that you're a cards and dice player. He said, and if you're going somewhere, he said, what's really nice is the portability of the game. Because with Digital Diamond Baseball, this has been a feature that you can kind of access your stuff. Mark Cohen is he's a computer programmer, so it's actually not only locally PC-based, but cloud-based, which is nice. You just take your cards and dice and you're ready to rock. You know, it's got everything. The charts are in there, so he calls it a good helper app for so many games, for Strat, for Status Pro Baseball, which is actually built into the game, by the way, in case you weren't sure of that. It's not just the cards. It's every season from 1927 on. The one thing that he neglected to mention is that for any season prior to 1927, you can just make it. So every season is available in Digital Diamond Baseball. It's a good game. It's a good game. I think it's probably not as strong as this one in Out of the Park as a purely digital game, but it's not. It's a hybrid. So, and I know a lot of people in the community have embraced it. Dave Gardner really likes the game. I know quite a few others like Digital Diamond as well. So give it a go. If you're a cards and dice player, now you have an alternative to Stratomatic. If you don't feel like using that as your gatekeeper, now you got another. All right, back to game action here for right fielder Bill Hinchman, who flied to deep right center back in the second. Lajoie on first, nobody out. Leafield could be in a bit of a pickle here. Checks Lajoie at first, winds and fires. Hinchman takes this pitch, and coming in quickly on this is Jack Barbeau, making a nice play from third and a hard peg onto Bill Abstein to retire Hinchman. Napoleon Lajoie moves into scoring position, one down for Nick Clark. Nick Clark flied to shallow left back in the second inning. So runner in scoring position for Cleveland here in the bottom of the fourth as Leafield gets ready to work the 1-0. Change up, base hit, left field, Lajoie rounding third as Clark and Leach converge on the ball. Clark's throw home, the tag, and this one gets away from Gibson. That's going to be scored. An what do we got here? We got an E7. So an error on Fred Clark allowing the run to score, and Cleveland with a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the fourth inning with one away. Nick Clark at third, and here's Joe Birmingham. Birmingham 0 for 22. Leafield from the stretch in the 0-1. Birmingham swings, chopper to first. Abstein has it, coming home to score on that is Nick Clark. So Birmingham, despite getting another 0-for, will get the RBI for putting contact on the ball, and it's now 3-1 Cleveland. 2 out here, and the Pittsburgh Pirate bats just not have shown up. George Perring grounded to his opposite number, Hannes Wagner, his last time up. Batting with the bases empty and 2 away and 2 in. Leafield deals the 1-1 base hit, solidly stroked to center field. And Tommy Leach getting to that ball, calling off Chief Wilson, and fires it back into the infield. So Cleveland picking up its 4th base hit of the game, and here comes Glenn Liebhardt. He'll enter the top of the 5th inning, enjoying a 2-run lead at least. Leafield deals. Here's the 2-1 fastball, chopped up the middle. Comebacker Leafield fielding it off the bump, fires it on for the final out. However, 2 runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. We've played 4 complete, and it's the Cleveland Naps 3, the Pittsburgh Pirates 1. As World Source Gamer says, way to go, Nap. Clinton Parks, and I have to say this again too, that for those of you that really like Digital Diamond Baseball, a guy that you have to thank for a lot of the huge improvements in that game, and I hope this gets out to the community, is Clinton Parks. And believe me, Clinton Parks had to go toe-to-toe with the developer of that game in a past version, but it's because of Clinton now that there's good solid defensive ratings in there and some other improvements as well. So a big attaboy to Clinton Parks for being very instrumental in helping that game become what it is now. Still my main complaint in that is library management if you're doing something like this. But I know that Mark will continue to work on it. It does get better every year. All right, here we go now. Moon Gibson, Bill Abstein, and Jap Barbeau to lead it off. Glenn Liebhart enjoying a 2-run lead here as we go to the top of the fifth. 3-1 Naps. Liebhart winds and fires the 2-0 delivery. And this one, base hit center field by Moon Gibson. So Gibson looking at 2, and he's going for 2, and he is gunned down. Hinchman with the outfield assist. Gibson getting a little greedy there, so that records as a base hit for the Bucks, but an outfield assist. Gibson just doesn't have the wheels for that. The throw from Hinchman to Lajoie, and Lajoie's tag was perfect. Oh, I'm sorry, it was George Perring making the tag. So 1 out here. The Bucks desperately trying to get something going here in the middle innings. Bill Abstein is 0 for 1. The first baseman grounded to short his last time up. So base running gaff for the Buccos. And the way things are going right now, that could mean the game. So Abstein, instead of being the tying runner at the plate, is batting with the bases empty and 1 down. Liebhart deals. And first pitch swinging, grounded to Lajoie, who bobbles the ball. And that's an error, E4. And so the base running gaff by Gibson does indeed, or may indeed, come back and haunt the Pittsburgh Pirates, who should have 2 on now. Jap Barbeau will give it a shot now. The hot corner man gave it a ride to shallow left center last time up. Liebhart checks Abstein at first. Abstein with 16 steals in 1909. Liebhart throws over. Abstein dives under the tag. And this was close, but just back ahead of the Stovall tag. Abstein leads off first again. Liebhart winds and fires the 2-1. There goes Abstein. Hit and run. Jap Barbeau got good contact in that ball to slide the tag. Barbeau is safe. Abstein will come around to score. And the Buccos now back in this ball game. It is 3-2. Beautiful hit and run executed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. But again, should the Pirates lose this game tomorrow in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, they may be talking about the base running gaff of George Moon Gibson. Of course, older fans who would have seen King Kelly years past, 20 years before this or so, would have said, "You're not King Kelly, don't do that again, Mr. Gibson." All right, pitcher batting here, lefty Leafield. Leafield grounded a single, or lined a single over first, way back in the third. So a run in for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's now 3-2. Jap Barbeau in scoring position. Glenn Liebhart into his motion, and here's the 1-0 fastball. Easy grounder to short. Perring, though, took his time on that ball, and the throw was late, and they are going to score that one. They're going to score it a hit. So infield single for the Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. 1 down, and it brings up Hannes Wagner. So the Flying Dutchman walked back in the first and grounded out in the third. Cleveland looking double play here. Barbeau at second, Leafield at first. 1 away, 3-2 your score. Liebhart from the set, and the 1-1. Fastball to Wagner, and this one just popped on the infield. George Perring will make the catch at short. So 2 away. Runners hold station. And here's Fred Clark. Nothing for 1. Sacrificed in the first and popped to the catcher in the third. Liebhart brings it. The 1-1. Clark swings in this curveball, grounded to Lajoie. Lajoie will go to Perring to retire Leafield and the box. But 1 run, 3 hits, no error, or 1 error, I'm sorry. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Cleveland Naps 3, the Pittsburgh Pirates 2. As, yeah, it just did, Mick. I just didn't announce it. But if you listen and remember back, you'll hear the umpire. The umpire will actually call it. But yeah, it does have the infield fly rule, and that's why when I said right after that the runners hold station. So, and sometimes you'll hear the umpire actually vocalize it. So it absolutely does. The main issue with with Action PC Baseball that continues to have to just get more work every year, and it's getting better and better, is the chalkboard. Unlike out-of-the-park baseball, this isn't happening in real time, so you kind of have to make some allowances with it. I was playing a game this afternoon, and somebody tried to sacrifice bunt, got it in the air, and one of the weird things about the chalkboard is if it's bunted in the air in front of the catcher, it's not just that the catcher just goes out and gets it. That ball goes in agonizingly slow motion. You know it's only going about maybe, 9 feet, 10 feet, and you just got to wait and wait and wait. So hopefully that's something that will get fixed probably next year. So chalkboard will do some weird things, that's for sure. Of course, now the park, a lot of times you'll see what I call the bump Bailey effect, and if you've seen The Natural, you know what I mean. All right, here we go. Josh Clark will lead it off here. Lead-off hitter for the Naps, followed by Bradley, then Stovall. Josh Clark has singled in the infield and walked. So lefty Leafield, let's look at him just really quickly. Through 4 innings of work, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. Leafield lets it go. First pitch, Josh Clark grounds to Dots Miller. Miller with the underhand toss to Abstein at first, so the 4-3 putout is out number 1 here in the home half of the 5th. For Bill Bradley, Leafield works. Bradley swings in this first pitch, a fastball, skied to center field. Leach camps under it and makes the catch. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Right, so stealing doesn't become a stat until 1887. So caught steals weren't, and they're still trying to find, even when you get into the dead ball era, they're still scouring through Saber and everybody else to try to find caught stealing. But yeah, stolen bases and how they were even defined, different. So by 1897, though, that's the modern steal rule, but there's not going to be caught stealing stats. So World's Worst Gamer is absolutely right as far as caught stealing, which is a little frustrating. So I know what Action PC does is it will kind of, for the dead ball era in the 19th century, there's an algorithm built into the game because we see that with the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. They're stealing, even though their stolen bases show 0. So, a lot going on under the hood here, that's for sure. All right, Stovall bats with 2 down. Leafield with the 2-1 delivery. Fastball, and this one scorched to right off the wall. Chief Wilson giving chase. Stovall could get 3 out of this one as he's going around the bases. Here's the throw to second. And they hit the cutoff man, and they're going to hold George Stovall to a double. So 2 out, runner in scoring position. Cleveland looking to pad its 3-2 lead. And who is striding to the plate? None other than Napoleon Lajoie. He's grounded to short and walked in this contest. Leafield winds and fires the 0-2 to Lajoie. Fastball, chopped to first, and Abstein takes it on the bounce and retires Lajoie. So a little threat here by Cleveland, but to no avail. We head to the top of the 6th here, League Park, and it's Cleveland 3, Pittsburgh 2. And just trying to catch up with everybody. Glad everybody's having Sports Time Machine. What can we tell you about Fred Clark, one of the premier outfielders of his day? Great contact hitter, excellent speed. You want to, if you have a team, if you're playing Fred Clark, he's a leadoff or bat him leadoff or bat him second. Fred Clark's one of the greats of the game. Sports Time Machine, truly is. A Hall of Famer and deserves it. I could hold forth on Fred Clark all night, especially because he was a Pittsburgh Pirate. But yeah, great player, Mike. He's a great player. All right, Dots Miller now leads it off here for Pittsburgh, followed by Tommy Leach. a forgotten excellent player, Tommy Leach, and then Chief Wilson. So the number 3, 4, 5 slots due up here for the Corsairs of the Steel City in the top of the 6th. Glenn Liebhart, the line on him through 5, 4 hits, only 1 earned run, 1 walk, no strikeouts for him. Liebhart deals the 2-0 delivery to Dots Miller. This fastball, this one slapped to left, base hit. Josh Clark up with it, gets into George Perring at short. So the Bucks with a duck on the pond here. Dots Miller with 14 steals in 1909. And here comes Tommy Leach. So Tommy is grounded to short and fly to right center. Nick Clark sets the target for Glenn Liebhart, who checks Miller at first. Decent lead off first for him. Liebhart will throw over, and Miller back safely. Infield now at the corners. Bill Bradley in at third. George Stovall in at first, looking bunt from Tommy Leach. Liebhart lets it go, the 0-1. Leach indeed bunts. Nick Clark pounces on it, fires on Delajouet on the play. So sacrifice successful. Dots Miller moving into scoring position. So the Buccos in possible business here with a tying run in scoring position, and the go-ahead run coming to the plate in Chief Wilson. But Wilson thus far, fly to center, popped to third, and we've already talked about him. Just 1 for 14 overall in this tournament. The only other person on this field performing worse than Chief Wilson is center fielder for Cleveland, Joe Birmingham. Liebhart deals the 1-0 to Wilson. Wilson, little grounder to first. Stovall on to Liebhart covering for the second out, and Dots Miller will move to third. So it's up now to George Gibson, who had that base running gaff his last time up in the 5th, and was gunned down by Hinchman at second to get a safe hit for the Buccos to tie it up here. So tying run 90 feet away. Liebhart from the stretch. And the pitch. Gibson swings in the first pitch. Birmingham going back. This one deep. And Birmingham against the wall makes the catch. And the Bucks are turned away. So no runs and 1 hit. There were no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Naps 3 and the Pirates 2. Yes, he was a pretty good manager. Thank you, Todd B, for that. I appreciate it, Todd B, reminding folks. Thank you for the likes, guys. As Clinton says, actually, Fred Clark was a pretty good manager. 4 pennants, a World Series. Yep. In 1900, finished second division twice. Second time it happened, he retired. Yeah, he excellent, great baseball mind. Great outfielder. Excellent contact hitter. Could steal bases. If you've got him on your team or you're going to draft him, Mike, get Fred Clark. Just excellent. And in fact, he was the player manager of this 1909 Pirates team that won the World Series against the Detroit Tigers. All right, Bill Hinchman to lead it off here for Cleveland in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cleveland looking to advance to face the 1907 Chicago Cubs in round 3 of this tournament. Rounds 3 and 4 are best of 7. Leafield deals to Hinchman. The 0-1 fastball. Hinchman sends this one foul on the first base side. And this one just out of the reach of Chief Wilson. Tries to jump into the stands, but this one about 4 rows back. So the count now 0-2 on Bill Hinchman as the delivery comes in. Fastball. He straightens it out to right field and deep. But Chief Wilson, leaping grab, slams against the wall and makes a great play in right field. So allowed out by Bill Hinchman. Right fielder flies out to right fielder for out number 1. Here is Nick Clark, and why, who knows the nicknames. I have no idea. Gibson sets the target. Leafield delivers. Clark swings in the first pitch, grounded deep to short. Wagner taking it on the short hop. Still plenty of time to set and fire it on to Bill Abstein for out number 2. So no web gems or great plays by Wagner today, but some pretty fine defense as Joe Birmingham steps in. Birmingham has contributed, pretty much nothing for Cleveland, as we've said. Leafield deals. Here's the 1-1 to Birmingham. Fastball. And this one skied to right in foul territory. Chief Wilson making the running catch. That does it for Cleveland here in the 6th. We go to the 7th. We are still at 3-2 using Craig Clark's 1897 year. What teams in projects, Todd is asking, has been a surprise. So what do you say, chat? All the stuff you're doing. Who's been a surprise team for you thus far? Always a good question, because you know you're always going to have that team that either a surprise because they've underperformed or because they've overachieved. Good question, Todd. All right, so Bill Abstein has grounded short and was safe on an error back in the 5th. Liebhart deals. Here's the first pitch. Fastball chopped to short. George Perring, plenty of time, and gets him. So Abstein is retired for out number 1 here in the Pittsburgh Pirates 7th. Jap Barbeau, the third baseman, RBI double back in the 5th to score Bill Abstein to bring the Buccos to within 1 run of Cleveland. Liebhart sets and fires the 0-2. Curveball grounded to short. Perring busy out there at short. Plenty of time to retire Jap Barbeau for out number 2. And here's lefty Leafield, the pitcher. 2 singles, so he's 2 for 2 on the day. Liebhart deals the 2-1, and lefty Leafield connects with this one, but this was just going to be stopped by Bill Bradley at third, who will throw across the diamond to Stovall to retire the side. 7th inning stretch time here at the ballpark. It's 3-2 in favor of the Cleveland Naps. No, you know what? Clinton, there's no need to apologize. I mean, I hate the nickname too, and I think it's terrible. As Clinton Parks, when I was talking, bemoaning that nickname, he says Nick Clark was a Native American. His skin was very dark. Newspapers gave him the nickname. His name is Jay, and sometimes, and then Clinton says, times I get on my soapbox about these names back then. I apologize. No need to apologize. I mean, that's sort of the same debate about Confederate statues and things like that. So, no, I mean, I find them troublesome as well. But, I mean, in the same token, when we had McGreevy, we were talking about Dummy Hoy. And he got his nickname because of, he was deaf. So, very unfortunate as we look back on it. So don't apologize, Clinton. I think it's actually a good thing that that we do call attention to these things. So don't apologize at all. All right, George Perring here in the bottom of the 7th now, be followed by Glenn Liebhart and then Josh Clark. Again, 3 Clarks in this game. So Josh Clark, Jay Clark, Nick Clark, whatever, right? And Fred Clark. So there was one of these games where we had 2 Clarks on, and a Clark made a catch. It was so weird. Anyhow, George Perring has grounded to short and singled to right center, and Perring's been busy. There's a picture of, there he is, George Perring. Lefty Leafield holding at 1 strikeout, 3 walks, and the Bucks just want him to just stay settled. Here is the 1-1. Perring, just as I say that, lines this one over the head of Dots Miller at second into center for a base hit. So George Perring aboard, and they're looking bunt here from Glenn Liebhart. Liebhart has walked, and he's walked and grounded to the pitcher. Leafield deals the 0-1. Liebhart gets the bunt down. That's a good one. Gibson fires onto Miller, sacrificing. Moving to second is George Perring. So potential 4th run for Cleveland at the Keystone sack, and here comes Josh Clark. We're back at the top of the order for Cleveland. Clark 1 for 2, including a walk, singled back in the first. George Perring, no steals in 1908. Lightfield deals the 1-1. Clark, bounding ball to second. Dots Miller fires on to Bill Abstein for the 4-3 putout. And moving to third is George Perring. And here's third baseman Bill Bradley. Bradley 0 for 1. Sacrifice also in this game. Leafield deals. Count even. 2-2. And Bradley looks at one in the outside corner for strike 3. It's the second strikeout for lefty Leafield. We head to the top of the 8th inning. Still 3-2. The top of the Pittsburgh Pirate order coming up in Hannes Wagner, Fred Clark, and Dots Miller. So Ken Castro, answering Todd B's question, said that the Brooklyn Dodgers and his franchise league underperforming. Todd B says for him it's the 1978 Giants. He says, man, they have great pitching everywhere, but they struggle offensively, but still a pleasant surprise. Clinton Park says that the 1960 Kansas City Athletics is way out of their league in one of his projects. How about that? Way out of their league. I'm trying to think who would be right now. I wish I had an answer to that. I know that I have some teams in the past. I'm like, my God, where are these guys coming from? But I would say in this tournament, the team that's surprising me, and I think surprising everybody, it's surprising everybody, are the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. I mean, the games between them and the 1894 Orioles in this tournament, they have been wars. They haven't been games. They've been all-out artillery barrages. And the fact that they're up 2 games in the 1894 Orioles is amazing. The Orioles themselves, though, with really no pitching, Ken Castro and I were looking at the Orioles roster before the tournament started, and these guys have no pitching. And yet they dispatched the 1907 Tigers in round 1, a very, very strong team. So I would say 2 surprises. The other surprise for me is how underwhelming these 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates have been. This Cleveland team did not finish first. I had to find a Cleveland team in the dead ball era, and there were no first place finishes. So, but in 1908 they did well. So I wanted to represent Cleveland, great baseball city here. So, and they're doing well. But I would have to say, if you pin me down to one, Todd, for me it's in this tournament the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. All right, I'm going to try to remember for Clinton for the rest of this game. Jay Clark sets the sign. And Glenn Liebhart with the 1-1 to Wagner. Fastball. This one sent deep to left. Back on it, Josh Clark. And short of the fence makes the catch. So big loud out there by the Flying Dutchman. One away here in the top of the 8th for left fielder Fred Clark. Clark 0 for 2 and a 0 for 2. And a sacrifice. Liebhart deals. Count even 2-2 on Clark. And this one, a swing and a miss. And Fred Clark will be the first strikeout victim of Glenn Liebhart here. So 2 away for the Bucks in the 8th. And it's up to Dots Miller to try to get something going for the Bucks. Singled back in the 6th. So he is 1 for 3. Glenn Liebhart with the leg kick and the 0-2. Fastball popped high in the infield. Bill Bradley waving everybody off and makes the catch. And Cleveland faces the minimum. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. We are still at 3-2. Clinton talking about who's on that Kansas City Athletics 1960 team. This is Hank Bauer, Andy Carey, Dick Williams. There's some names on there, man. Of course, Whitey Herzog, Norm Seaburn. Seaburn. They really had no pitching, and for real finish, dead last. Yep. Clinton says very sagely, don't worry. We learn from our history and also learn to live with it. And now if we could add in the third part of that, learn from its mistakes. Well, we'll get there. All right, bottom of the 8th we go. When we get to the 9th, the Bucs will send up Tommy Leach, Chief Wilson, and Moon Gibson for one last chance at these naps, holding on to a 3-2 lead. Lefty Leafield has struck out 2, walked 3. Still looking very strong out there. George Stovall, good day at the dish. RBI double back in the 1st and doubled in the 5th. Leafield with a 3-0 delivery. Fastball, this one missing low. That one killed a few worms as it bounced into the glove of Moon Gibson. So that is free pass number 4 issued by the Pirate hurler, and it brings up Napoleon Lajoie. Lajoie was on base once. He walked in the 4th. Otherwise, he's grounded out twice. Stovall pilfered 14 in 1908. Leafield goes. Lajoie gets the bunt down. It's a good one. And sacrifice successful. Stovall will move into scoring position with 1 out. And Bill Hinchman. Nothing for 2. Leafield kicks and deals. First pitch swinging, grounded to second. Miller onto Abstein, and Stovall was already off and running on that. So 2 away, and now the potential 4th Cleveland run, just 90 feet away in George Stovall. And it brings up Jay Clark. Jay Clark, RBI single back in the 4th. Lefty Leafield deals from the stretch in the 0-2 to Clark. Fastball grounded to 3rd, and this one dropped by Jap Barbeau. Again, another unfortunate nickname. Barbeau charged with the error, and a big gift for the Cleveland Naps as they now hold a 4-2 lead. So huge error. If there are 2 GOATs in this game, and we're not talking about the way we use the term GOAT now, but what it meant then, it's got to be Gibson and Barbeau. Gibson with the base running gaff, and now Barbeau with a huge error with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Center fielder Joe Birmingham would like to leave today with a hit. Leafield throws over. Jay Clark back. Leafield brings it again. Here's the 1-1. Birmingham slaps this one to Wagner at short, who will go to Miller covering. Side retired, but a huge run. No hits, 1 error. We go to the top of the 9th. Last chance for the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates to draw even in this series. It is 4-2 in favor of Cleveland. Leading it off here, Tommy Leach. So Leach is 0 for 2 in the game and a sacrifice. That sacrifice back in the 6th. Glenn Liebhart deals. Oh, no, Ham Hyatt in there to pinch hit. We've seen him pinch hitting for the Bucs. And just a harmless grounder to George Perring, who fires onto George Stovall for out number 1. So Chief Wilson now will have a go. 0 for 3. Liebhart's 1-0 delivery. Fastball. This one a long way down the right field line, but making the catch, Bill Hinchman. And it's down to George Gibson. Can he redeem himself in the eyes of Pittsburgh faithful? 2 down here. The Bucs looking to go down to defeat. Cleveland looking to move on to meet the 1907 Chicago Cubs. Here is the wind and the 3-1. Gibson, harmless, bounding ball to 3rd. Bill Bradley up with it. The throw across the diamond. And the 1908 Cleveland Naps will move on to the 3rd round of the KCCL Dead Ball 19th Century Tournament. Quick recap of the game. Absolutely no highlights for the Pittsburgh Pirates. George Stovall goes 2 for 3, including 2 doubles in the game. Lefty Leafield will go back to the Steel City, 0-1 record in the tournament, and Glenn Liebhart goes to 2-0. So, not really a very remarkable game. Not really any dominant pitchers. No dominant pitching at all. Lefty Leafield managed to strike out 4, but in a losing cause. Liebhart letting defense do the work for him. I guess the two big stories that contributed to that Pirate loss, not taking anything away from Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland won this game, certainly. But the base running error by George Gibson and that big error in the ninth by Barbeau. So the MVP of this game, Glenn Liebhart, and Jay Clark gets the game-winning RBI. Pittsburgh stranded 4, Cleveland stranded 6. The line for these teams, once again, for the Cleveland Naps, 4, 6, and 1. For the Pirates, 2, 5, and 2. Look at our playoff bracket now as it moves on. So the 1907 Chicago Cubs, the 1908 Cleveland Naps, I think that should be a whale of a lineup. Pittsburgh goes home. The next time we return to the KCCL, it will be the 1912 Boston Red Sox against the 1884 Providence Grays. The Red Sox holding a 2-0 lead in that series. And then it's going to be really fun to get back to the White Stockings and Orioles, because that has, as I've said, that has been a war. Good stuff. Yep, dead ball is so much fun. Yeah, you talk about a hitless streak. How about it? Joe Birmingham, 0 for 22. Well, maybe he'll do a little better against Cubs pitching, because the Giants stymied him, the Bucks stymied him, so now he's got to face Chicago. So looking forward to see who's going to come through this. Cousin Ken Castro predicting the 1912 Red Sox to win it all. And I was hoping my Bucks would, so they're out. So I don't know. I would love to see the Red Sox. Sentimentally, I'd like to see one of the 19th century teams make it, but I think once we hit that 7 rounds, or best of 7, I think that's going to be kind of hard on them. But I'd love to see the Cubs and the Red Sox lock up in this one. I think it would be a lot of fun. Ken Castro feeling that the Red Sox are too strong. And I mean, this 1912, we can look at a couple of the rosters just for a couple of minutes here. Almost clicked on the Boston Braves, who were knocked out quickly. I mean, you look at these 1912 Red Sox, and you've got some just superb players: Tris Speaker, Duffy Lewis, Larry Gardner, Jake Stahl, Harry Hooper. And then you have like Olaf Hendrickson, who's played a journeyman role in this, and to keep the Red Sox moving forward. Steve Yerke's no slouch there at second. You look at pitching, you got Smokey Joe Wood. You're right. I mean, this is a very, very strong team. So let's just say, just for shits and giggles, that they do meet the Cubs. So for the Cubbies, you're looking at Evers, Wildfire Schulte, Mordecai Brown, who's in there. He can actually play right field. But you got Harry Steinfeld, Jimmy Sheckard, who's tough. I think this would be a good matchup between the Cubs and the Red Sox. But that is as yet to be seen. Robbie Warburg says, great game, Beatles. And, of course, Robbie's one of the things, man. It's all family. Share news. Share news. So, it's going to be fun. Clinton Park says, let him know about the next game. He says some serious bench jogging is needed in the Boston Providence game. That's going to be a fun one. But the real one, the crazy one, has been the Orioles and the White Stockings. That has just been nuts. Just absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. So, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. We had Game 1 of Baseball for Windows, Game 2 in Action PC. I do want to get back to some out-of-the-park baseball. It's been like, hey, dude, I'm here. Hello. And no MLB The Show tonight. I'm going to give that a little bit of a rest, at least for tonight. So, as much as I'd love to do another game like doing on that, could have been the teams that we played last night too, the Orioles and Jays, but that was just that was kind of a big fat bomb there last night. So I think we'll give MLB The Show a little break tonight. Clinton says, you know how it goes, Beatles. You keep letting those Rhode Island criminals in here. How about it? Aaron Reed, you got here late. Well, but you still got here, my friend, and that's what's really important. So just once again, just to wrap things up, unless you guys have want to do a little bit of a chin wag, that's fine with me as well. I have no work for a little while, starting a new job, something a little bit more human at the end of the month, with normal hours. Yay, finally. So, what's the news? Finally got a girl? No, that is not the news that Robbie finally got a girlfriend. So. Real favor, so no KCCL on June 25th. I will definitely try to remember that. I would definitely try to remember to not do. It's probably going to be. Oh no, it won't be wrapped up by the 25th because, right, we have just one team ready in round 3, so still got a ways to go. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably going to be wrapped up before then. So, yeah, but no worries, Clinton. No worries. I mean, we held this off while Ken was recovering. So, because if you guys remember, we started this March, April, something like that. Oh, you guys are going to that Sabre, the sponsored. Okay, yeah. Boy, I'd love to. Man, I'd love to be hanging out with you guys at Sabre. It'd be brilliant, but I can't get away. Franchise Red Sox, says Ken Castro, versus Franchise Tigers. 2 games set tomorrow in the morning. That's going to be a good one. I'm really a big Tigers fan. Not that I hate the Red Sox, but I'm a big Tigers fan. So that will be a fun one. 2 great old franchises clashing there. Good stuff. So Robbie, why don't you go ahead and I'll leave this going on. And you can tell Aaron in the chat what you're doing again. Okay? Aaron says he's looking forward to calling an out-of-the-park game sometime. You mean on this channel? Yeah. Probably do something with out-of-the-park baseball tomorrow night. So Robbie, he knows that about been working, but he didn't catch about the game. So if you want to go ahead and maybe just tell him. Be looking forward to the box scores. Yeah. So that is a great, as you're talking about to Cousin Ken, looking forward to those box scores. Absolutely. So Clinton invited me to a group on Facebook, which is really cool, and it's devoted to baseball box scores. So unfortunately, I think a lot of guys there are doing season replays, so I'm going to have to resurrect the 1949 replay I'm doing offline and start posting some scores up there, because I don't know if folks there would be terribly interested in, like the decade league that I want to start or things like that. And I don't think they'd be interested in the Howie Shanks league, so. Todd B says just had Ron Oster with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th as the 81 Reds defeat the 1978 Giants 4-3. Juan Soto, no decision. Fanned 11 in 8 innings. Wow. Or, no, not Juan Soto, Mariano Soto. I'm sorry. Blech. I see Soto, and there you go. Aaron says, I'm surprised to have dinner with my supposed to brothers, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so what's the worst thing to tell me no? Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But again, I'm doing a 1949 replay off. Now, I might, with this other one, Clinton, the decade teams, the decade league that we were looking at, this might be kind of fun to, post some box scores for as it loads up. I'm kind of really excited about this. I'm like such a geek. I made all the logos for all the teams tonight and everything. So I'm kind of geeked for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So Robbie's sharing some news there about about what he's doing. Yeah, Clinton. It seems like a really good group. John seems really cool, and I just joined another Facebook group called Vintage Baseball that looks really fun. So I've got to give that. Not that I'm a huge fan of Facebook, but there's some great baseball groups on there. There really is. So check it out. What's this about? Who has strep? Who has strep? Oh my God. Strep throat. Oh man. I remember the last time I had strep throat. Man, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. That's just terrible. Oh, I didn't know he had a page. Dave Little. Clinton Parks telling us Dave Little has a page. I did not know that. Dave Little, one of the good guys in the community, truly. Gentleman, everything, So for those of you who are following the Howie Shanks League, I have no idea what's going on in it. I haven't called a game in ages. I feel really badly. But I know MV has really been keeping up for the side. So for anybody that follows Shanks, you're probably already on that Discord page, whatever. I know that the next Shanks, again, I'm not going to be managing a team, but the next draft should be fun. People are going to get assigned a random year and the team, a random team for that year. So no limit on Hall of Famers this time. So it should be interesting. Should be interesting. So Clinton says he's drinking lots of cold stuff. Good. Good. Oh, Bai. I love Bai. Oh, that stuff is so good. Good. Love it. So Mick says, I wonder what Steve's going to do with StatHead shutting down its neutralized stats finders feature mid-June. I didn't know they were shutting that down. I mean, I'm a StatHead member. Why are they taking... I didn't get that news. I'm a paying customer too. Why are they taking that away? That's kind of significant. Are they, Mick? Are they going to try to replace it with something more like? I mean, that's one of the reasons why many people pay for StatHead as opposed to just using Baseball Reference for free is to be able to look at neutralized stats because a lot of people are replayers and what have you. So you're looking up a stat and slate announcement. I should get on there and see. Wow, that's pretty huge. That is pretty huge. I don't know what to call this decade league, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to geek out at a roster here for a little bit. 1940s. 1940s baseball doesn't get a lot of love. And yet, look at the names for the Kiners, man. Yeah, Joe DiMaggio, Ralph Kiner, Ted Williams, Joe Gordon, Vern Stevens, Johnny Mize, Ken Keltner, Mickey Vernon, Wally Moses. Let's see who else stands out. Of course, Jackie Robinson, Ina Slaughter, Pee Wee Reese, Dom DiMaggio, who's probably not going to get a lot of time in center with Brother Joe there. Tommy Holmes. There's Lou Boudreau. 1940s. Who they got in there? The Kiners. Who they have as their pitchers? Got Hal Newhouser, Tex Houston, Bob Feller, Bucky Walters. Got some good. It's going to be some good stuff here in this. I can't wait to get started. I just assigned just ballparks like to wherever. I know there's a lot of, for Aaron and Robbie, we'll look at 1990s baseball here. The Piazzas. And you got the Kid, you got Jeff Bagwell, you got the Big Hurt, Albert Bell, Chipper Jones, Robin Ventura, Larry Walker, Tim Salmon, Pudge Rodriguez, Mickey Tattleton, Kirby Puckett, Rusty Greer, Barry Larkin, Biggio, of course, Roberto Alomar. Vizquel is probably maybe some people are like, oh, what's Omar doing on there? But I don't know. Tony Fernandez. Pitchers. Geez, you got Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, Tom Glavine. This 1990s team is going to be very, very tough. Very, very, very tough. So they claim that it wasn't a highly used feature. That's a shame that they're taking it away. You know what? Steve has so many different alchemical things that he does, Mick. I'm sure he'll come up with some elegant solution, but I don't know. I mean, you know, it's one of the reasons I bought into StatHead. I mean, I'll still use it. It's great, but you know, while people may not be using it, I can't imagine if not a lot of people are using it. It's not taking up a lot of server, right? It's not like taking up a lot of cycles in the server. So I don't know. Oh well, I'm not going to get in a pissing match with them because I certainly do like it. 1970s baseball, always popular in the community. Mike Schmidt, the Toy Cannon, Dick Don't Call Me Richie Allen, Jim Rice, Johnny Bench, Bobby Bonds, George Scott, Dave Parker, Steve Garvey, Joe Morgan, Ted Simmons, Bobby Grich, Thurman Munson, Cesar Cedeno, Dave Concepcion, Rod Crew, Pete Rose, and then there's Rick Burleson, the Rooster. Pitching in the 1970s, you got Tug McGraw, Tom Seaver, Suter, Sparky Lyle, Marshall, Palmer, Gossage, Carlton. This 1970s team, I mean, again, I'm going to do this as a season. This 1970s team is pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. So, we shall see what we shall see. We shall see what we shall see. Could always tell them his well is no longer a highly used feature for them. Nah. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mick. No, I did not know that, Clinton. So you see, so Bill Middleton dropped his Delphi page. That sucks. That sucks. I mean, Delphi is a paid thing, so maybe he'll be moving it to somewhere else or something. Perhaps Delphi's become it's a weird place now. I mean, I used to be a Delphi member back in the day. In fact, I ended up marrying somebody I met on there, and it wasn't a flirt room. Actually, it was an artists and writers room. But we just kind of hit it off. Anyhow, no, I'm not going to cancel Robbie. StatHead is brilliant. There's so much you can do in StatHead. It's like, but you know, I don't know. You're taking away a service, and I don't see how it's bogging down. The one thing I wish StatHead would do, and I know I would like to see more of the baseball gauge come in. I miss baseball gauge. That was great. It was great. So Clinton says that he's still producing his seasons, and he moved to tabletop sports. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, we don't want to get these stalwarts, these heavy hitters, kind of just dropping out of what have you. You know, I mean, out of the community, whatever. 1960s for the Clementes. So we got Maz Richardson, Elston Howard, Jim Fregosi, Billy Williams, of course Roberto Clemente, Captain Carl is in there, Ron Santo, Brooks Robinson, So that's going to be tough. Who do you've got? You got Ron Santo and Brooks Robinson as third basemen in the 1960s, in this 1960s squad. Santo, and I mean, wow. I mean, Brooks Robinson, just rated at 10 as a third baseman, Santo a 9. I mean, so strong, such a strong team. Aparicio, I mean, that's your man at short, but Fregosi, not a bad backup, to spell Aparicio every once in a while. But the Judge is in there, Alkay Line, Bill Freehan, Vada Pinson, Willie Mays, you heard of that guy, the Baby Bowls in there, and Stretch. So good stuff in the 1960s. These are all loaded teams. But Cousin says that he's going to manage the King Kellys. So he's got, of course, Old Hoss Radbourne's in there. Make sure does it have the right Billy Hamilton this time? It does. I think it does. There it is. We got the correct Billy Hamilton, so we're on our way. Bid McPhee, Cupid Childs, Ed Delahanty, Tom Cahill, George Pinkney. There's Tommy McCarthy, hell of a players. Bad Bill Dolan, Jesse Burkett's on there. Hugh Duffy, Jake Stenzel, Slidin' Billy. Mickey Welch, who didn't do well. He didn't do well for me in the Ned McGreevy League. Anyhow, Cousin Ken, you got a lot. There's Wee Willie Keeler on here. You got a hell of a team. I just realized something. Is Kelly on this? I called them the King Kellys. I hope he's on here. I just realized that, man. Let's look at catchers. I'll be damned. I might have to rename this team. King Kelly is not on this team. How is he not in this? No, I'm not changing it. I'm bringing King Kelly on here, and I'm dropping somebody. King Kelly has to be on this team. That's all there is to it, and he's not. Ha ha! Here we go. Player, we're bringing. I need a good. So, oh yeah, I'll look at the 1950s in a second, Mick. So, Cousin Ken, how about a good? Would you mind throwing me a good season here for Michael King Kelly? The team's named after him, and he's not on here. I can't believe this. What was Dave Cook thinking? The great King Kelly not on a 19th century team? So, wow, Cousin Ken is being a nice guy and coming up with a good year. Yeah, feel better, Clinton. Strep throat is a bitch. All right, 1950s. So these are the Stan Musials, or just the Musials. So we have Hank Aaron, Richie Ashburn, Ernie Banks, Yogi Berra, Roy Campanella, Del Crandall, Nellie Fox, Gil Hodges, Jackie Jensen, The Big Clue, Harvey Keane, Mickey Mantle, Eddie Matthews, Minnie Minoso, Stan Musial, Red Saindienst, Duke Snyder, Eddie Yost. Good team. Pitching, Hoyt Wilhelm, Warren Spahn, Billy Pierce. Billy Pierce, good pitchers. Robin Roberts, Early Wynn. Early Wynn never does well for me in baseball sims. I don't know why that is. So you got some decent pitching there. Some decent pitching. But that 70s squad just looks wicked, wicked, wicked. 1886 for Kel. Thanks, Ken. I'm going to bring him in right now. Appreciate it. Can't have King Kelly with a team named after him and he's not on it. That's just not acceptable. Import player. Warning. Blah, blah, blah. Changes may impact. Blah, blah, blah. Import. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. All right. So watch. I probably don't have 1886 installed. Oh, yes, I do. I think. Is that 1886? No, it's 1885. 1884. Yeah, Early Wynn's problem is the high whip. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Where is King Kelly? He is somewhere. I don't want to pull him from the baseball history collection. That's all right. I'll just install 1886 just because he's my favorite 19th century dude. Yeah, he just never does well for me at all. And another guy that doesn't do well for me, surprisingly, is Christy Mathewson. Matty gets kind of rocked. Ken, you saw it when we were doing. Remember last year when we did the 1908 Cubs Giants, that 7-game matchup, Matty got kind of rocked, and I don't have a lot of luck with Mathewson, and I don't know why that is. No problem with Matty. I mean, what a great pitcher, and all due respect to Mark Roberts, who feels that Sandy Koufax is the greatest pitcher of all time. I think he's one of the greatest, but there's 3 guys on this list that I think eclipse him at least. Mathewson, Alexander, and Johnson. But yeah, Koufax is a great, great pitcher. What am I doing? I'm installing a season. That's what I'm doing. All right. And this time I don't have to do zip files because I just want Dave Cook products. Which these are in no order at all. Oh, I know why they're not in any order. Because I have to find the 19th century collection and install it out of there. Well, that bites. There it is. 1880s complete. Install. Yeah. If I remember how to do this. Oh, no. I have to do it a different way. But I will remember to do that, Ken. Either that or just say that, yeah, Mike Kelly was finally caught by Pinkertons. So. Because there's a weird way you have to do the 1800s. Oh, wait. I'll just do it now. Wait. I'll do it now. I'll show you guys. Actually, this would be good. This will be good. I'll show you guys. In case any of you guys who play Action PC, if you get the 1800s, why it's weird. Because what you just saw there was a bunch of, right, it said, oh, everybody's, here's how you have to deal with that one. So you have to go into wherever you have your seasons. And this is one of the ones you actually do have to kind of unzip, I guess. So just give me a minute. There's 300 and some things in here. And I'll show you guys how to do this. If you buy it. If you buy it. I don't know why he put all the seasons in there like that. But come on, where is it? Where are you? Or did I already do? Oh yeah, there it is. I already unzipped it. So you have to unzip it. That's the only one. If you buy this from, if you buy 1880s complete from Dave Cook, it will come as a zip file. And I always tell you guys, don't unzip. That's one you do have to unzip, because then from there you have to actually install the season from there. So there's all the 19th century. So then what you do is you take 1886, and I'm going to just copy it out of here and into the main season directory. So just copy it, don't cut it, and then just go up 1. Actually, just go up 2 and just paste it right into the seasons directory, and then you can install it. So boink, there it is. It's a bit of a pain in the arse, but that's all right. And then you do the regular just as you would. And again, because this isn't, is that 1886? God, my eyes. There it is, yep. Install 1886. Yeah, there we go. There's my man. There he is. King Kelly. Playing for the Chicago White Stockings. Let's see what kind of year Ken picked for him. Oh yeah, hell of a year. Hell of a year. Let's move this over here where I can read this a little better. 388 average for Kelly that year. A goodly amount of stolen bases. I'll take it. 118 game. Thanks, Ken. All right, let's draft him. Yeah. So I wonder, Mick. Mick says that he says he kind of noticed in the Shanks thing that if you have a dead ball pitcher with a WHIP greater than 1, he generally gets lit up, cough, Cy Young cough. Yeah, the dead ball pitchers. In fact, in that league, I don't have the latest file because I haven't done any broadcasting on it yet. I probably will tomorrow during the day. That the ERAs are high. I don't know where what year, if Steve normalized that to a year, but the people who are leading in ERA are kind of surprising, and there's nobody as far as just regular old ERA. I think the last time I was broadcasting it, the league leader in ERA was like a 2.89 or something. Different league altogether. So, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Kind of surprising. All right. I should knock somebody off this team, but nah. Player, import, and where's 1886? It's making me dizzy. Oh well, I don't have to do it tonight. Because I don't know where the hell it is right now. Getting too much stuff. Tell you what, we're going to exit and load this back up. I think I know what happened. But yeah, those pitchers aren't doing what I thought they would do. I don't even know where my team is in that. I know Robbie's not in last place anymore, though. I think PQ Rivers' team is in last place now. Okay, player, import, and I'm going to move this over here so I can see a little better. There's 1886. Chicago. And I know you guys can't see what I'm doing here, but now you will. So there's King Kelly and import. Yep. And yep. And King Kelly is now on the team that he is named after. There he is. Ta-da. Thanks, cousin. Yes, he is. So, Mick, this is a subset, like from an earlier version of the baseball history collection, and I'm guessing it had to be an oversight by Dave Cook because, but yeah, he's in everybody who's played baseball. Every retired player is in the baseball history collection. I know it'll be updated for this year. So, but yeah, he just because Kelly. The reason I didn't want to pull him. I just wanted to pull his season. I could have pulled him out of the baseball history collection, but I'm just pulling him out of a season. But yeah, he's in there. But it's just faster to just pull him this way from a season. It's not going to make much of a difference considering those years that he had. But he's in there. Everybody who has played baseball is in there. And that's why I love that thing. It's too big to show on here. It takes like forever. Even on a fast computer, it's a big file. But yeah, but he is definitely in there. I just think that was an oversight because all of these players on these teams are out of the baseball history collection. So probably just a mess up. I think what Cousin Ken's going to do is he's going to start Old Hoss Radbourne pretty much like all the time. Although Cy Young's showing more starts on this, but look at the innings pitched for these guys in the 19th century. That's just nuts, and a pretty tough pitching staff, man. You got Tim Keefe. Tim Keefe didn't get picked by anybody in our first McGreevy League, by the way. But yeah, even Moonlight Graham is in there. So you guys know Action PC is having a big sale right now for all sports. I guess Ryan is his kid or something. I don't know. But so it's a little birthday one-day sale. It's probably over by now, though. We should look. We should look for you DK sports fans. Which is most of us. But I think the sale's over. No, it's not over. I don't think it's over yet. Here, let's bring it over. So if you got a few bucks to burn. Oh yeah, the big sale is over. So this is just pretty small sale, and baseball history collection back up to 50. Still worth it. Still worth it though. And I'm guessing, yeah, 25 bucks. I don't think so. But yet, the 2023 projection season for baseball is on sale for $18.75. But the 2022 baseball season is still full price, 25 bucks. Bah. There's a lot of stuff still on sale, though, guys. If you play this game, you'll pick up some seasons. I'm seeing them for around 10 bucks. So. PC Replay PC Replay. Maybe you could take a page here from Dave and have a sale every once in a while. What do you say, big guys? Anyhow, enough of that nonsense, right? Dave says closer to the end of the month for the 2023 update for the history collection. Looking forward to it. I love the baseball history collection. That thing is amazing. And again, I mean, this entire league, except for King Kelly, me bringing him in from 1886, this entire decades league is from the baseball history collection. So is, I'll let this refresh here. Eventually it'll refresh. So big file here. You have the baseball history collection on your buy list. Oh, definitely get it, Mick. I mean, I know it might seem like a chunk of change, but for what you can do with it, it's incredible. It's just incredible. And I think it's saying to me, Bafangustunad. Anyhow, it comes with, so last year's update had players by their country of origin, which is crazy. Oh, so you bought the, yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. You bought the complete collection. Yeah, I'm kind of in between jobs right now because I have everything, but I kind of want to buy it anyhow. But yeah, I remember that you bought that. So yeah, I'm actually then for you, that's not going to be a big deal because to plunk down that kind of dosh for, and you actually did it right. You know, Big Clue and Steve and I bought everything over a number of years, so spent into the 4 figures in this game. So yeah, you did it right, man. This is part of the baseball history collection. I was doing some games on here on the channel that I'll return to. So this is all part of that as well. Baseball history collection, and he updates this all the time, every year, and always comes out with a neat new subset of it. This is one of my favorite baseball products. I don't know if there's any. The closest thing I can think of this baseball history collection would be what Diamond Mind offers. All right, well, guys, it's getting to be about that time. We'll finish up this stogie and we'll call it a night. And I do want to say, you know, like earlier, that rant was never meant to be personal, but just thanks, guys, for letting me have that that little time to get on my soapbox and do whatever. Ken Castro, he is loving that the franchise set from Baseball for Windows. So that first game that you saw tonight was, so what Ken is playing with cards and dice was called Original Franchise All Stars, and that's pre-expansion, so it's the original 16. What I'm using on Baseball for Windows is the 4th iteration of OFAS, Original Franchise All Stars, and it's again, as you guys know, and I talked about it. It splits the Dodgers into Brooklyn and Los Angeles, the Dodgers into San Francisco and New York. The St. Louis Browns have their own team. The Orioles have their own team, and so on and so forth. And I've never seen an all-time greats sort of league like that, so I really, really like it. But Ken having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, it actually had a pretty good crowd for that KCCL. That surprises me just as McGreevy did. So thanks to you guys, though, because as I've said, Ken and I thought that McGreevy was just going to be Ken and I watching. We're like, well, we're going to do it anyhow, and it was actually surprising how well it did, and I'm very gratified by it. So anyhow, I want to thank Mick. As always, Mick, you got my message in Discord, man. Always good to have you in a chat. You're such a knowledgeable baseball fan. You fit right in here with all the other cranks here. Robbie Wartburg, Ken Castro, heart and soul of the channel. Clinton Parks, the Professor, Aaron Reed, the man of 1,000 voices. Thanks, Aaron, for coming in, man. We'll do an out of the park game and get you on there. It'll probably just be out of the park baseball, because when we get you on there, man, it's an even longer game than just when I do something. Todd B, thank you very much, Todd. Mike, Sports Time Machine, thanks for coming in. And I think it's really cool that Mike is getting into dipping into some old-timey baseball. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans, thank you very much. World's Worst Gamer, as always, thank you. And I think we got pretty much everybody. Dan Burke came in, hung out for a little while with us, too. Can't forget Dan Burke. And I think we got everybody. So, until next we meet, gents, see you around the batting cage, and thank you very much. Good night.